Yes, indeed. B-Marsh Boxing last post fight of the night. Sebastian Fundora versus Carlos Acampo. This fight is over here and over there in the Carson, California. Whew, excuse me, man. It's late, man. I'm about to crash, y'all. Shit. Ocampo, man. Ocampo did well, man. He did well versus the big towering inferno at damn near 6'6". Sebastian Fundora. Fundora wanted to box from the outside, keep his jab, which he was pumping often and early. Kept that jab in his face. But the guy Carlos Acampo was looking for openings, and he was finding a little success in the early rounds. With the body shots, closing the distance, coming over the top with overhand rights, overhand lefts. See, I mean, the southpaw Sebastian Fundora, he's a difficult matchup for anybody. I mean, man got an 80-inch reach, 6'6" at 154 pounds, man. That's on some Sonny Liston type shit. Lennox Lewis type shit, you know what I mean? Slim reach is absurd. That's some Dalsim from Street Fighter type of reach. You check it, but best believe he doesn't use all his God-given attributes to his fullest abilities. I ain't never seen this guy in a fight where he didn't give up his height and reach. Sure enough, Ocampo closed the distance all throughout the fight. This fight was no longer fighting at a distance like Fundora was in the first few rounds. Excuse me. No, 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 no. The Acampo closed the distance, you know what I mean? And it was banging out. These guys were just throwing punches in bunches. Ocampo was getting hit with big shots, but he was also landing some big shots too. But the man was taking a toll on him, especially in the later rounds, you know what I mean? The first 6 rounds were more competitive. The whole fight was competitive to watch. Fundora didn't dominate the fight, not at all, but showing his vulnerabilities, you know what I mean? And it's only a matter of time. This was just remnants of Jared Hurd, basically, you know what I mean? A guy who was using his height and reach advantage on opponents, you know what I mean? And is willing to stand in the booth and bang out phone booth style, go toe to toe on some Jake LaMotta type shit, man. Tony Zell and them, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't recommend that for anybody. Especially a guy who has God-given advantages with the height and reach. Yes, he won the fight, but Ocampo, this fight really was supposed to be for Ocampo to get knocked out. Really and truly, that's what this fight was about. I mean, they don't make Carson, California fights in that Home Depot Center or whatever you call it. That arena, Home Depot, Honda, StubHub. It's changed its name so many times. We just call it Carson, California. They don't bring fights up in that joint, especially the main event, to be going the distance. No, they want somebody laid out. Or an all out type of war, Mickey Ward, Arturo Gotti type of style. And Sebastian, sure enough, went the distance, you know what I mean? That's why I said Ocampo had some success in this fight. I had him winning 4 rounds, you know what I mean? I gave him rounds 2 and 3. I gave him round 5 and round 8. Everything else was Sebastian Telfair. Excuse me, Sebastian Fundora, excuse me. Main boxing biker. What's good, my G? Wagwan, big man. Yeah, what's his name won? Excuse me, Sebastian Fundora. Man, he won this fight. He won it pretty comfortably, but like I said, his fighting style, giving up his height and reach, it gives his opponents many chances to throw combinations. I mean, I've seen Ocampo land at times 3-punch combinations. Oh, like I said, this fight was fought from a close distance after round 3, all throughout the round 3. And Fundora, man, he did his thing in there. But I'd like to see him in there with a bigger puncher, and Jamel Charlo is that puncher. Now Jamel Charlo is scheduled to face what's his name? Costa Zoo's son, Tim Zoo. I don't know if it's gonna be in Australia or over here in the States, but that's who he's supposed to fight next. And I don't know why Jamel Charlo, a guy who became undisputed at 154 pounds this year, only fought once this year. Doesn't make sense at all. I believe that fight was like in May. Why the man didn't get the fight at the end of this year? May at least get the fight by November, December. Who knows? But Sebastian Fundora holds himself a WBC interim strap at 154, which means he's next up, you know what I mean? And he knows that. He's being patient, and we'll see if he gets that fight eventually, you know what I mean? I'd like to see him versus the winner of Jamel Charlo versus Kostya Tszú's son, Tim Tszú. B Marsh Boxing, leave your thoughts and comments. I had this fight 8 rounds to 4. The judges had it a little wider than that. It is what it is. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Gone.